Salam sejahtera and afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, Doctor.
Good afternoon, Doctor.
Good afternoon, Doctor.
Good afternoon. So I hope you all have a good lunch. Okay, you're going to learn phytochemistry at 2 p.m. Okay. We should have 41. I think only 39 are here, but I will have to start because it's already 5 minutes. Okay, today we are going to look at the first topic. We already looked at introduction of phytochemistry. Before we look at all different compound, saya. Okey, sekarang boleh dengar saya dengan jelas?
Yes, Doctor.
Boleh.
Yes, Doctor.
Okey, tak pernah pula internet saya macam ni. Hari ni pula. Okey, never mind. Let me off the video and share the screen. Okey, boleh nampak screen ya?
Boleh, Doctor.
Boleh.
Okay, I'll start to record first. Kalau in between tiba-tiba disconnect ke saya tak perasan, you just send me WhatsApp ataupun miss call je. Okay, record ni.
Okay, Doctor.
Thank you. Okay, you can see clearly, right? Phytochemistry, the slides.
Yes, Doctor.
Okay, thank you. So, let's introduce with secondary metabolites. If you remember during the first session, I did give a very brief introduction on what is secondary metabolites. Just a recap, okay? Secondary metabolites, sometimes we call phytochemical. These are referring to the chemicals that produced by plants. Okay, that's a very general definition on secondary metabolites. Chemicals produced by plant. And in this topic, we are going to look at secondary metabolites according to the classification. There are many ways we can classify the secondary metabolites. And the way that we are going to use in this lecture is classification of these secondary metabolites according to their biosynthesis pathway. Okay, so if they use This pathway at the end product is phenolic compound. So that is one group. So by using this type of classification, there are three secondary metabolites. There is phenolic compound, terpene, and nitrogen containing compounds. So I'm going to teach you on phenolic compounds and terpenes. In today's topic, I will give you a very brief introduction on what is this. And then in next lecture, we are going to look at details of each of these phenolic compound, terpene, the subclass, the subcategory, and their structure and also importance. Okay. So all this classification of these are based on different biosynthesis pathway. How? The first one, phenolic compound. Phenolic compound are formed from shikimic acid pathway mainly. Okay, and some are from the mevalonic pathway. For terpene, it is synthesized from mevalonic pathway, and the precursor is acetyl-CoA. Precursor means the starting material. Okay, what I'm giving you here is very brief, because later when we go to each of these phytochemical, we'll look in details. And then for the third one, nitrogen containing secondary metabolites. In this lecture, we are going to focus on alkaloids. The pathway used is shikimic acid pathway and derived from TCA cycle. Okay, this we can look here by looking at the diagram. You have some idea. I know the diagram is quite complex. Let me simplify. Okay, remember photosynthesis produce the primary metabolites, carbohydrate, and then the sugars. Okay, so we are not focusing on primary. We are focusing on secondary metabolites, in which shikimic acid pathway. Okay, and then there are many steps. The end product will be phenolic compound and also nitrogen containing secondary metabolites. The main target in this topic, in this course, is alkaloids. When I say nitrogen containing secondary metabolites, we are focusing on alkaloids. Okay, so this pathway classification according to shikimic acid pathway. And mevalonic acid pathway will produce terpenes. So you can see here, using a different pathway, we can classify the secondary metabolite into three group: phenolic compound, nitrogen containing compound, and terpenes. That's what you're going to learn. Okay, let's look one by one. Again, in this today's lecture, a very brief one only. Okay, first one, phenolic compound. The most popular one, the most widely distributed, and most widely studied compound. Okay, there are around 8,000 phenolic compounds that have been identified, and the two main group is flavonoid and non-flavonoid. And under this flavonoid, there are many more classes and also non-flavonoid. The importance of phenolic compound, they have been highly studied for its therapeutic properties. And one of the therapeutic properties is they have the ability to capture free radicals. Okay, I have to brief to you about little bit on free radicals. Why? Because in next topic, you will come across numbers of compound which can capture free radicals, and this compound is known as antioxidant. And these antioxidant compound are related with other biological activity, example like anti-cancer, anti-inflammatory, wound healing. So that's why, even though this is not this is a phytochemistry class, but let me introduce to you little bit on free radicals, so that in next when you read about compound biological activity, you can understand clearly why is free radical research is very important. Okay, before I proceed, Anyone know what is free radicals? Anyone? Pernah dengar atau tak pernah dengar? Atau pernah dengar tapi tak tahu? Anything? Just say something.
Never heard of it.
Oh, never heard of it. Okay, so I'm going to introduce a new term for you, free radicals. Okay, let's start with this story about free radical. If you look here, there are three individual here, or these three character here. The good one, always giving antioxidant. The bad one, always stealing, we call free radical. The neutral one, okay, dia tak buat apa-apa, duduk diam je. But free radical keep on stealing from her. We call healthy cell. So these are three molecules. Let me introduce one by one. We start with the bad one, free radical. Okay, ideally, stable molecules looks like this. They always come in a pair. All the electrons come in a pair. Biasanya sometimes people say berdua lebih baik. Okay, kalau kita duduk seorang-seorang tu, we always feel not stable. We always feel lonely. Same also molecule. When the electrons are in pair, the molecule are more stable. We are talking about molecule inside our body. Okay, the molecule are more stable. Dia takkan buat kacau because it's happy. But what happened when it lost the electron? Just imagine, selalu berdua, suddenly the electron become single, become unpaired electron. So it become unstable. This molecule is now known as free radical. So free radical, by definition, is an unstable and highly reactive molecule. Again, I'm referring a molecule inside our human body. So that's why when it have unpaired electron, it become the bad guy. So what does this free radical will do? Okay, this is the free radical. Okay, this electron with pair. Ni pun ada pair, ni pun ada pasangan. Yang elektron ni duduk seorang-seorang saja. Sure, it feels like very lonely. Okay, it become unstable. So how to get pair? This is a healthy cell. Healthy cells always have pair electron. So what will the free radical do? Steal one electron from this healthy defenseless cell. Dia pun curi satu. Once it steal one, okay, so it become from unstable molecule to stable molecule and live happily ever after. But what happened to the healthy cell? Lost one electron because it have been attacked. And this can lead to damaged molecule. This is a simple diagram. And this reaction not stop here. Not only one molecule will start to steal electron. Imagine, this molecule will steal electron from this molecule. Now, lost one molecule, it become free radical. From healthy, become free radical. So what it will do? Okay, you steal mine electron, I'll steal other molecule electrons. This is we call free radical chain reaction. Okay, first healthy molecule, and then lost electron. When it's lost electron, it will turn to free radical. Okay, so free radical will start to steal from, again, I start from the right. This is the free radical molecule. Okay, one of the electron is single. So it start to steal the electron from a healthy molecule. Bila dia curi satu daripada sini, now it become free radical. The healthy molecule become free radical. So what will this free radical, the newly formed free radical will do? It steal from another healthy molecule. So this one becomes stable, and this third molecule from healthy become free radical. And this one will not stop. They keep on stealing and stealing and stealing. So this one we call free radical chain reaction. which is can bring a harmful effect to the body. Okay. And what will happen when there are too much of free radicals? Because when free radicals want to steal electron, it will start to attack the cells. So when it start to attack the cell, there is a condition where you will find that the amount of free radical is higher compared to the good one, antioxidant. Antioxidant is a good person, a good guy, a good molecule, which will stabilize the numbers of, which will stabilize the molecule. So when there are accumulation of free radicals in our body, what will happen? This condition is known as oxidative stress. And what is bad about oxidative stress? Too much of oxidative stress, this will lead to a different disease and illness. One is aging. Okay, that's when start to form all these wrinkles. We are talking about like very rapid aging. We are not talking healthy aging is different. We are not talking about healthy aging. This is lead to unhealthy aging. This can lead to some of the chronic disease. Example like cancer. This can lead for other medical issue, inflammation. It also can trigger the wound healing. The wound can stop the wound healing process and other illness in the body. You can see how just free radicals can cause many issue in human body. And you may ask, where does the free radicals come from? Okay, usually, okay, in our body, there is this mechanism, metabolism taking place. In metabolism, free radical are produced naturally by our body. It happens. You can't say, no, I don't want free radicals in the body. It happens. The byproduct of metabolism or cellular metabolism is free radical. And our body have an antioxidant mechanism to fight this free radical produced by the metabolism. But the problem now is we have been exposed to many other external factors. This is only internal issue. Okay, look at your surrounding. There are UV light, there are air pollution, inflammation taking place, cigarette smoking. All these produce free radicals. That's why they become like we are very much exposed to free radicals. If you ask during your grandparents' times, all they don't care about free radicals because they are not being exposed with all these factors. Sekarang je macam-macam. Okay, we have all sorts of environments, very stressed environment, which lead to the production of free radicals, and it accumulate in our body. Our body have been designed to fight free radicals at certain extent. When there is excess free radicals, because it comes from the external factors, that's when we need to get external something from outside to fight the free radicals. Our body, we have the mechanism we call antioxidant to fight the free radicals. But you can't rely 100% on that. Now you're taking external source of antioxidant, which are mainly from fruits and vegetables and can be a supplement. Okay, so that is antioxidants comes here. So antioxidant is the good one. This is a good molecule. Why? Antioxidant, it will, dia baik. The free radicals don't have to steal from the antioxidant. Antioxidant is like macam dermawan, murah. It will donate the one of its electron so that it become, this free radical will have another electron, and now from unstable molecule become stable. And antioxidant, it don't give any effect when it lost any one of this electron. Okay, different molecule, this antioxidant. And where you found this antioxidant? Antioxidant naturally can be found in many foods And the compound that have these antioxidant properties is this phenolic compound. So antioxidant is important to prevent the damage caused by the free radicals. How? By neutralizing this molecule. Okay, dia bagi kawan dah. So now this free radicals is happy, antioxidant also happy, your body is also happy, and we are happy. Okay, so antioxidants helps to neutralize the free radical. Now the free radical will turn into healthy molecule. So these are the story of these three molecule: antioxidant, free radical, healthy cell. Clear?
Yes, Doctor.
Clear, Doctor.
Okay.
Clear.
Yes, doctor.
Seems like everyone is clear. Let me test you whether you actually understand my story. So there are three character here: antioxidant, free radical, and healthy cell. Okay, I need 3 volunteer. Kita start dengan volunteer dulu. Kita tengok ada volunteer tak? One person become antioxidant and tell us what is antioxidant about. Another person tell us free radical. You are the free radical. Tells us what is you. And another person healthy cell. Kita boleh mula dengan volunteer tak? Okay, who want to be the free radical? Siapa nak cuba? Tak payah on video pun tak apa. It's okay. Ada yang nak mencuba volunteer? Takkan daripada 41 orang tak ada seorang nak volunteer.
Nak, Doktor.
Okey, nama apa? Sorry sebab saya tak nampak ya. Just bagi nama.
Nur Afrina.
Afrina. Okey, Afrina free radical ya. Okey, antioxidant?
Dr. Me, Sarmila.
Sarmila, antioxidant. And who want to be the healthy cell? Healthy tak nak? Healthy?
Me, Doktor.
Siapa tu?
Haikal.
Aikal. Okay. So, tell us about who you are. Let's start with free radical. Afrina?
Free radical. I'm a free radical. I am an unstable molecule because I have an unpaired electron, which means I have a missing electron. So I steal electrons from healthy cells.
Okay. That's all?
Yes.
Okay, seems like you're very clear with this. Thank you, Afrina. Okay, antioxidant. Sarmila?
Okay, I'm antioxidant. My job is to neutralize the free radical, which is unstable. Basically, I will donate the electrons to the free radical so that it becomes stable and do not steal the electrons from the healthy cell. That's my job as an antioxidant.
Okay, thank you. The good antioxidant. Thank you, Sharmila. And finally, the healthy cell. Haikal?
Okay, so I'm healthy cell. I'm the citizen here. I'm a stable molecule that living happily.
So you're living happy, no one disturb you?
Yeah.
Sure, no one
The
disturb you?
free radical will attack me to steal my electron.
Okay, what will happen after that to you from the healthy?
When the free radical steal the electron, I'll receive damage from. I'll become a new free radical
So what will you do there after that?
molecule because I become unstable.
Okay, then macam zombie lah lepas tu. You become unstable? That's all?
Become stable.
Now you are known as, from healthy cells, you are known as?
Free radical.
Yes, and you start to steal from other healthy cells.
Yeah.
From good one become the bad one. Okay. Thank you, Afrina, Sharmila, and Haika. Seems like you all are very clear with this term. Why I have to introduce with this term? Because if you go to Google Scholar, there are many research on phenolic as an antioxidant agent. Okay, I'm just showing some of this article journal when you use Google Scholar. Jangan guna Google yang biasa, Google search, Google Scholar. You just type phenolic antioxidant, or you want to say antioxidant strawberry, antioxidant apple. You can find many research on that. These are scientific publication, and they will show in which journal. In this example, this phenolic composition, antioxidant potential and health benefit of citrus peel. Citrus, kita refer kepada semua kaum kerabat limau. Okay, and this work is done on the skin or the peel of the citrus. Okay, they look at what are the different phenolic and whether it have a good antioxidant potential or not. And after they have done the research, they publish this in this journal, Food Research International, and the publication is in the year 2020. Quite recent. Try to read the most recent article. So this done by a group of researcher from Khalsa College from Punjab, India. Another one, just introduce you with article journal because I want you to, you can start to read more article or scientific work, okay, rather than rely on this source yang tidak boleh dipercayai. Okay, as a biologist, as a science student, start to read article journal. So this is another work. This one, they look at phenolic profile. When you say phenolic profile, phenolic is a very huge group. When they say profile, they try to find different type of phenolic, and they will start to study the different structure. Okay, after they look at phenolic from 30 tea infusion. Okay, they take the tea infusion, different teas, the green, black, oolong, white, yellow, and dark teas. So different teas, they want to see what are the different phenolic compound and what are the different antioxidant activity. Definitely this will give you a different activity. And then they will say which tea is the best antioxidant. Mostly widely reported is the green tea. Green tea is a good antioxidant agent. Okay, and this is published in a journal called Antioxidant. Saya tercrop pula daripada universiti mana ni. Okay, and another example of research to study antioxidant in pomegranate, delima, but they study in a different parts of the fruit, from the peels, kulit dia, juice and seed. And surprisingly, you will find different parts of this will have different phenolic compound. Bukan terlalu berbeza, tapi the intensity will be different. The activity might be different. Mungkin juice will give a good antioxidant activity compared to peels and seed. So then they can recommend which one is actually a good one for you to consume to get a good benefit of antioxidant. Okay, so this have been done by a researcher from University of Medical Science, Iran, and published in Food and Chemical Toxicology in 2018. Okay, you can start to Google and start to read just for your this is for your extra knowledge. Okay, saya tahu baca ni bukanlah macam baca novel. Satu hari baca satu pun dah cukup baik, atau seminggu satu pun start to read now. Okay, because some of you might biohealth student will do the wet lab hands-on. For the SGPS student, you will do a literature survey. This will be a good exposure for you. Okay, so come back to this phenolic compound. So the biosynthesis of phenolic compound, okay, is important in the growth of the plant, is important in the reproduction, pigmentation. It gives pigment. Example, the anthocyanin give pigment. It also gives the resistance to pathogens. Phenolics helps the plant to protect the plants from any pathogen attack. It's also will influence the heavy metal salt. Okay, so these are the importance of phenolic compounds in the plant. Okay, let's look at the second one. Okay, a brief one again, terpenes. Okay, what are terpenes? Okay, this is one of the quite diverse class of secondary metabolite. And so far, there are around 40,000 structure of terpene that have been identified higher than phenolic compound. And terpenes are considered the largest class of plant secondary metabolites. Okay, widely studied phenolic compound, but the most bigger group, terpene. Okay, why they call terpene? Okay, first terpene, okay, or terpenoid, sometimes we say terpene or terpenoid, has been isolated from turpentine oil. Isolated means you bawa keluar. Okay, you extract it out. Anyone know what is turpentine oil? Anyone? What you know about turpentine oil? Pernah dengar tak kalau ambil level 1 Amali tu mesti dengar, pernah dengar. If you are in my class. Anyone want to share if you know anything about turpentine oil?
Made of resin.
Yes.
I just know that.
Okay, turpentine oil is actually derived from the resin of the pine tree. The reason why the pine tree produce this resin, bila kita kerat pokok tu, batang dia atau kita toreh, dia akan secrete this resin. Bukan sebab dia suka-suka ya, it will produce the resin because resin have a compound, a chemical that can prevent from this antimicrobial attack. Kalau kata, sebab bila macam manusia, bila kita ada luka ni sangat sangat senang terdedah kepada jangkitan kulat, bakteria macam tu. Sama juga dengan pokok. Bila kita toreh dia ada luka, easy being exposed to bacteria or fungi. In order to protect that, they produce the resin. So this resin is a good antimicrobial agent. So that's first time they take this resin and scientists produce turpentine oil. And this turpentine oil have been widely used in industry. One, they use as the paint thinner. Kalau siapa yang biasa buat kerja mengecat, you have know the paint thinner is made of turpentine oil. It do have a nice fragrant smell. It's also been added in many cosmetic. Maybe you can start to read your cosmetic product, the label, and also in some of the chest rub. Example like wigs. Semua orang biasa kan wigs kan, pernah pakai kan wigs? Wigs tahu kan? Wigs vapor rub.
Pernah.
Ya,
Pernah.
wigs
Pernah.
ni macam boleh kata wigs ni macam dia panggil apa? Dia boleh sembuhkan segala jenis sakit kan? Selsema wigs, batuk wigs, luka pun wigs, rasa pening wigs, nak muntah pun wigs, some people. Betul tak? Wigs is like very multi-purpose use. Okay, it contains turpentine oil but in a very small amount. It's just for the fragrance. And in terms of its characteristic, is soluble in lipid, not water. Okay, structure 5 carbon isoprene units. Tak perlu tahu sangat detail, nanti kita tengok lagi sekali. Okay, sekejap ya. Okay, now let's move to the third group, nitrogen compound. Okay, and again, as I say in this course, the nitrogen compound that we are focusing is alkaloid. Okay, and alkaloid ni, one thing about alkaloid, many modern drugs have been developed from the alkaloid of the plant. And one of the best well-known alkaloid is derived from this plant. Anyone know what is the name of this plant? Show here dalam slide ini. Pernah tengok kan? It's a popular ornamental plant. Anyone know the name? Tak payah scientific, nama local, what you call? Anyone? Takkan ada berempat.
I don't know.
No, don't know. Siapa pun tak tahu nama dia? Pernah tengok tak?
Pernah tapi tak tahu nama.
Pernah tapi tak tahu.
Okay.
Nak clue.
Nak clue start daripada huruf K. Okey tak, cukup tak clue tu?
Huruf apa Doktor?
K for Kelantan.
Kemboja ke?
Kemboja bukan. Okey. Nama dekat Malaysia kita panggil kemunting Cina. Okey. I'm not sure pernah dengar tidak kemunting Cina. Nama English dia periwinkle. Okay. And nama scientific dia ialah Catharanthus roseus. The first, this one, there's one periwinkle also plant in Madagascar. Kalau you pernah kenal lah nama island nama Madagascar. In Madagascar, this periwinkle, we call periwinkle Madagascar. In Madagascar, people use this to treat diabetes. Okay. So scientists buat apa? So scientists take this plant, they nak try to test whether it have anti-diabetic properties sebab traditionally they use to treat diabetic. So dia pun take lah this plant. They test, kita biasa kalau buat diabetic study, we test it against the rat. Kita guna mouse ke mice dekat lab. Okay, so we induce diabetes dalam mice and then we treat with the plant extract. Tapi surprisingly, it doesn't show that these plants can induce diabetes. But somehow they found it can kill certain cell. It can kill cell. Then the scientists got idea. Why don't they try to test this against cancer cell? And again, surprisingly, this plant actually can inhibit or can kill the cancer cell. This happened in 1970s. Okay, so they tried to isolate the compound and they found that the active compound of this plant is alkaloid, which is specifically known as vincristine alkaloid and vinblastine alkaloid, and both alkaloid have been used to develop the earliest anti-cancer drug which used to treat child leukemia. This is, pokok ni dia penting. Kalau you tengok any work on anti-cancer ke any institution, they use this as a symbol because the earliest anti-cancer drug, the vincristine, vinblastine, is come from this Catharanthus roseus, but Madagascar Catharanthus roseus, okay, Madagascar periwinkle. And another interesting characteristic of the plant with alkaloids, bila kita petik bunga tu, dia selalunya akan produce macam latex, ada getah. So mostly these are the plant with alkaloid. Okay, so just a brief on this, but this part will be taught by Dr. Irina later. So when you talk about nitrogen compound, there are many. Alkaloid, non-protein amino acid, amines, alkamides, cyanogenic glycoside, and glucosinolates, but highly valued is alkaloids. Kebanyakan drugs. Okay, for some of you who are taking ethnobotany, you will learn another example of traditional plants that we use which contain alkaloids. Okay, and it's also present in 20% of plant species, and it acts as a defensive role against herbivores and pathogen attacks. Okay, and again, biologically active alkaloids mostly are from plants. Okay, so that is about all these three group of secondary metabolites. So I already give you a very brief. Nanti kita akan mula detail satu demi satu. And under all this phenolic compound, ada banyak sub category and subclass. Okay, we're going to look in very intense. Okay, let's look the importance of these secondary metabolites. It's important because it helps to protect the plants. It gives the plant defensive response. Okay, because it can interact with pathogenic organism. And it play an important role in plant defense response to pathogens. Something like this, you can see like alkaloids is toxic for herbivoral attack and microbial infection. Terpene can help to protect the white cellulose of oil palm root cells, okay, and other. I'm just showing a very brief how it actually importance as plants defense mechanism. Okay. Now, nak break sekejap ke 5 minit?
Boleh, Doktor?
Okay, 5 minit kita jumpa balik pukul 2.50. Boleh ya? Dan saya stop recording.
Boleh.
Okay, 2.50 ya? Okay, so everyone is back, yeah?
Yes.
Yes, doctor.
Yes, doctor.
Yeah.
Let me continue with recording. Okay, so when we talk about secondary metabolites, it is actually being produced in different parts of plant. But definitely the numbers or the intensity or the concentration of these secondary metabolites is different from each part to each part. Okay. Sekejap ya. Sekejap ya. Okay, sorry ya. So so the concentration might be different from each parts of the plant. And also, we are going to see what are other factors that will influence the production of secondary metabolites. Okay, why the concentration is higher at this time, in which parts of the plants is the concentration is higher. Okay, and we are going to look at this by looking at some example. So some of this information that I'm sharing here is actually I extract from a research paper. So that means scientific work have been conducted. Okay, when you look at medicinal plants or medicinal parts of the plants, we can divide it into the roots and the stem, the leaves, the flower, the fruits and the seeds. Okay, so let's look about on these secondary metabolites. So these are very complex and it have been produced in different parts of the plants. And these been produced through special regulatory pathway. And after that, these secondary metabolites will be transport into certain organs, tissue, and cell. Okay, so the accumulation of these secondary metabolites will be differ in each parts of the plant. Okay, let's look at the root and the stem. So the plant roots and the plant stem are the main organs responsible for the accumulation. If you have used traditional medicine or you have seen people prescribe medicine, traditional medicine, most of the parts that they use is the roots atau or the stem. Kan kata guna akar ni, akar tu, and then batang. Why? Because these are the two parts of the plants that have rich with phytochemical or secondary metabolite. And this accumulation of these secondary metabolites will be differ by periods of times, by the season, raining season, what is this, sunny season or the growth years. So that's why we have to say pokok ni dah usia berapa lama. When then we know, is it good for the treatment? When you want to harvest the plant, you want to harvest the plants during which temperature? Because you know, if you harvest during this year of time, the secondary metabolite is higher. Sorry ya, kucing saya tiba-tiba nak bising. Okay, and we also found that, scientists also found that the accumulation of these secondary metabolites are higher during the growth periods, especially the reproductive growth period, semasa dia berbunga atau berbuah. Why? Because it needs these secondary metabolites to produce the fruits, to produce the flower and fruits, and also for defensive mechanism. These are environment or condition where it's very stressed. So that's why it needs to produce more secondary metabolites. And this is a very good time to harvest the plants for medicinal purpose. Okay. Example, we are looking at the plant called Echinacea purpura. Echinacea purpura ni dia group daisy. Okay, beraneka jenis daisy. The family is known as Asteraceae. Okay, they have done a study. You tak perlu hafal benda-benda ni. Saya just tunjuk contoh. They take the rhizome of the 2-year-old of Echinacea purpura. When you see ada nama purpura ni, maksudnya warna purple. They found that they have higher yields of cichoric acid, a type of secondary metabolite, during the fruiting season. Okay, all stage they harvest. When during at fruiting stage, cichoric acid is higher. Okay, another example, astragalus compactus. They during the fruiting time, they found the phenolic content is higher compared to flowering stage. Bila fruiting lagi tinggi compared to when it's produced flower. Another one, Scutellaria bicalensis. They found that flavonoid in the roots are higher, accumulate higher before the full bloom stage. So you can see here different plants, okay, or in general, in different species, the yields of this compound, certain compound, are differ from different time or different period or different stage. That's why it's important when people do harvesting medicinal plants for the purpose to produce the product, they have to know which is the best time to harvest. Okay, kalau they harvest that fruiting stage, next time the batch of the products, they make sure to harvest during the fruiting stage. Why? Because we want to make sure the quality is the same. Let's say they claim have cichoric acid percentage is high. It's the same every batch. Okay, even though you harvest in a different year. That's how industry maintain the quality of the herbal products. Okay. And also large number of secondary metabolites are always occur at the certain stage of the plant growth. Okay, and example like saponin. Okay, they study saponins in the Panax notoginseng. Okay, Panax notoginseng is a type of ginseng. They found that they have highest content in the root. Okay, the saponins is high where in the root in the 3-year-old of Panax notoginseng. Okay, and when it's at Panax ginseng, another ginseng species, this saponin is higher, will increase from the age 1 to the age 5. That means when the Panax ginseng is the age of 5, the saponins is higher. So it's different, even though same genus, tapi dia punya saponin in Panax notoginseng higher at the age of 3 in the root, and in the Panax ginseng is higher at the age 1 to 5. It keep on increasing. Okay, I'm just showing here, these are the different ginseng. Commonly we call it ginseng. Okay, but there are many type of species. The true ginseng, okay, or Asian ginseng is Panax ginseng. This is the true ginseng. Okay, Panax quinquefolos is the American ginseng. Panax notoginseng is, I'm not sure, I think Siberian ginseng. But the true and the one with a very high quality of the active compound ginsenoid is Panax ginseng. Ginseng is quite popular among the Chinese, traditional Chinese medicine. They use this to increase it's good for energy. Okay. And then let's look at the leaves. Okay. Okay. When we look at the, sekejap ya. Okay, in the leaves, okay, leaves are one of the organs that is important for photosynthesis. And leaf also can be used as a synthetic and storage organ for secondary metabolites. Okay, and what influence the secondary metabolites in the leaf? The age of the leaf, when you harvest the leaf, the growth stage of the leaf, the young leaf, the old leaf. Okay, example, they do study on this Melaleuca alternifolia. Okay, and they found the terpenes, example monoterpene and sesquiterpenoids, okay, it start to accumulate or start to biosynthesize at the early first cotyledon of the plant. That means when these plants start to grow bigger and bigger, the content of monoterpenes and sesquiterpenoids will increase. Okay. Another example, okay, is on the cinnamon verum. Okay, on the leaf, we are talking about the leaf. Okay, the main compound is we call essential oil. The type of essential oil found in cinnamon verum ialah kayu manis, is eugenol. And in this cinnamon verum plant, okay, the highest eugenol or essential oil is highest in the leaf at the age of 1-year-old leaf. Okay. And I'm just showing you cinnamon verum ni saya bagi tahu tadi tu kayu manis, tapi bukan kayu manis yang biasa that you always see in your mom's kitchen, okay, or in your home kitchen. The one that we use here mainly in Malaysia is cinnamon cassia. That is a very low grade of cinnamon. Okay, kayu manis yang low grade, mostly origin from Indochina. Okay, this is the true cinnamon verum, only found or grown in Sri Lanka. Okay, and this is very expensive because if you look dekat structure ni, kalau you biasa masuk dapur lah, okay, just to add a bit, kalau biasa masuk dapur, kayu manis yang kita biasa guna tu lain tau, cassia tu. Kalau yang ini, dia hand roll. The bark of that cinnamon, they actually hand roll. So that makes this cinnamon is very expensive. The eugenol content is quite high and they have a more aromatic smell compared to the one that we use. Why we use this cassia? Because it's cheaper. If you want this, you can buy. I think some store you can just purchase. They can bring this from Sri Lanka. There are some store actually selling this. Some people like to use this. Okay. So this just to add on about cinnamon verum. Okay, let's look at flower. Okay, if you smell the flower, it good smell, aromatic. Why? What contribute to this aromatic smell of the flower? The terpenes. Okay, and also the aromatic compound. And of course, different stage will have a different accumulation of this terpene. Example, flower have volatile oils. Volatile oils is the one that produce the very nice aromatic smell. Okay? And usually, if you look at the flower buds, example, give you Magnolia zenine. Different growth stage, they found have a different content of volatile oil. Okay? And later, the volatile oil first, when in the bud, there is increase. Tapi bila dia mula kembang, the flower become bigger and start to bloom, the volatile oil will be decreased. So that means if you want to extract the volatile oil for the perfume purpose or any other aromatic purpose, the best time to harvest is during when it start to produce the flower buds. Okay, and they also found, this is according to the place that they done the research, the highest is in October. Okay, but there's another flower, Magnolia biondi flower. This is Magnolia zenine. They found that the flower had a high dry weight, the volatile oil yield and the medicinal ingredients is higher in January and February. So when they want to harvest the flower of Magnolia biondi for medicinal purpose or for the volatile oil, the best time to harvest January, February. But for Magnolia zenine, the best time to harvest is October. All this information is based on research being done. We need to do research. Some people tak perlu buat research. Some people already have cultivated this. They have this traditional, their own knowledge. So use their knowledge and we conduct a scientific research to prove it. Okay. So this is the flower of Magnolia. Okay, let's look at fruits and seed. Okay. So fruit and seeds, we look at example like citrus fruit. Okay, kalau saya cakap citrus fruit means limau lah. The citrus is limau and the family is known as Rutaceae. If you take Rutaceae, all this katakan daun limau purut, daun limau nipis, you just take the leaf. Kita hancurkan kat tangan, there's a very nice, fragrant, aromatic smell. This is the volatile oil. Okay, so they found that the active ingredients in the citrus fruit are affected by the developing secretory cavity of the fruits. When they start to develop this kelenjar, secretory cavity, the volatile oils will increase. Okay. So they say, let's say when the fruit is light yellow, the volatile oil content is the highest. Okay. That means this is the best time to harvest when you want the volatile oil. And when the plants start to mature, the essential oil will increase. And these are some example of essential oil. This reported in the species of Citrus medica. This is another type of citrus species. Okay. And another example of fruits and seed is on the capsule of Papaver somniferum. Papaver somniferum is the opium plant, okay, poppy. When they found this, but this is in the roots, they found the morphine content in the capsule. Capsule tu dia punya flower bud lah, is higher, okay, during maturity. So this showing you the citrus fruits, or the family is Rutaceae. Mainly, they have this aromatic smell because of the essential oil. So what you can see here, secondary metabolites differ in different parts of the plants, different organ of the plants. When you harvest the plant, different stages. That's why people who work in this herbal industry, they have to know which is the best time to harvest the plant or the parts of the plants for the purpose to commercialize. If not, you cannot, kalau mungkin sekarang harvest January, lepas tu bulan 7, so the ingredients will not be the same. And also, another factor that contribute to the accumulation of secondary metabolites is the soil. If you plant the plant, example tadi saya tunjukkan, Catharanthus roseus, periwinkle. The one that tested to have a good anti-cancer activity is the one grow in Madagascar. Okay, Madagascar kita tahu kan is an island. If you remember your biopop is a apa nama tu, biogeography, because the island circulated by itself, so dia punya habitat is more rich. So that's why the soil is very good and the alkaloid is different or rich compared to the Catharanthus roseus or periwinkle that grow here in Malaysia. So that's why if you read some articles, let's say they do a research, example, they do a research on katalah contoh dukung anak. Dukung anak is Phyllanthus niruri, yang grow here in Malaysia and grow in India. India widely used research on this. You will find katalah dua-dua buat anti-cancer. Tapi when you same cell, tapi bila tengok result, kenapa lain? Ini nampak lebih bagus, ini macam kurang sikit. Because the place that they grow, the soil, how good is the soil will determine how good is the quality of secondary metabolite. And it's also will influence on the quality of the plant. Okay, that's why we can see different research from different country will do research on the same plant, tapi result berbeza, because we want to see the difference. Okay, and finally, a herbal phytochemical spectrum is like a community. It's function best when all the members are present. That means when you consume a plant, jangan kata hari ni saya hanya nak anthocyanin je, so saya nak makan anthocyanin saja, plant yang anthocyanin. Tak. When you want to have a full benefit of the phytochemical to your body, you have to take it in a varieties, because when it's together, it will give the optimum effect or function. Tak adalah saya nak phenolic saja, saya nak flavonoid je. No, take it together. Okay, so make it as a spectrum so that it will give the best effect to your body. Okay, so ada soalan? Any question?
No questions.
Okay, tadi semua attendance dapat scan ya? Okay ya, tak ada masalah ya?
Okey, doktor.
Okey.
Okey, doktor.
Okay, kalau tak ada soalan, untuk kelas hari Rabu ni, saya akan update kemudian dalam WhatsApp, sebab Rabu saya ada mesyuarat pengurusan universiti.